You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Here's a story I do want to talk about. I came across this post on LinkedIn that I found to be quite interesting. And it came from Walter Gier. He works in advertising, the advertising industry. And this was posted on LinkedIn. He's executive creative director. And this was quite interesting. I want to read it for you. He said, the more I continue to see posts on Droga 5 winning the ADCOLOR conference and awards business, the more confused and saddened I am about the whole thing. ADCOLOR is supposed to be uplifting our voices in advertising, and yet their decision to pick this agency doesn't seem in line with their messaging. Obviously, I don't know anything about what happened behind the scenes or what Droga 5 is doing to improve their DE&I efforts. You can't deny their work is amazing. However, it truly hurts to see an organization like this not give back and pick a POC-run agency or even an agency predominantly run by POCs, more specifically black and brown people. No one owes me anything, but I'd love to invite Tiffany R. Warren to an Instagram Live to discuss this topic, just like I did with Gary Vee. I just need to know that as a black man in this industry, ADCOLOR has my back. And I know that many of you who read that news thought the same thing. What do you think, Tiffany? No drama, no bullshit, just an open and candid conversation between two black executives where we can discuss the thinking behind such an important decision. And we reached out to Tiffany Warren, who is the founder of ADCOLOR, to talk about this as well. And those of you who watch this show, you have heard me talk about black economic social justice. You've heard me talk about why it's important for us to support black businesses. And one of the things that we've talked about on this show is the lack of dollars and investment in black media companies. What's happening in the advertising industry where black people are being frozen out. We've talked about the same thing happening on the federal government level. 1% of media dollars going to black media companies. And the thing that just really just jumps out at me, and it does rub me wrong, if you will, Benjamin, and I would love, again, to hear the stuff behind it, is that one of the biggest complaints that I get from a lot of black companies is that black organizations, black business companies don't hire black PR firms, black ad agencies, black firms who can do the work. I was texting a friend of mine today who had a discussion with a black director who said that the reason his team is nearly all white because he wanted other white folks to know that we're not doing just black stuff. And so the point that Walter is making here is, how can you be an organization that supposedly is about supporting black and other minority businesses, but then you don't throw some business to a black and other minority business? I think Walter's argument certainly has merit.
Absolutely, because, you know, blackness is an aesthetic now, right? It's a brand. And you see a lot of people put a black face or a black brand on top of it, but behind the scenes, it's nothing but our white brothers and sisters. And it's because of this fallacious belief that whiteness is somehow more professional. And it's been my experience that you're never going to find people who work harder or more qualified, because we've been taught since we were children that you have to be 10 times better to get half as much. And Roland, you know as much as I know, in this industry, especially in independent media, our work is twice as good, 5 times as good, 10 times as good. And yet we don't get a fraction of what is available to us. And quite frankly, that's some of the reason in this country we have some of the problems that we have, is because we keep pouring money into these failing white mediocre experiments and not money into these black excellence experiences.
See, and I'll tell you this, Mustafa. I was talking with a black advertising executive who said, enough of these organizations, enough of these entities handing out diversity awards to, frankly, companies that are not diverse. And so what happens is the same companies then use the award as a as a Kevlar, that's protection is saying, see, we got awarded by so-and-so for diversity. Well, you look at their numbers, what? You might have one. I was on a call with one media company. They talked about how they increased their diversity hiring by 50%. I said, well, no. I don't do percentages. How many direct reports did you have? The person said, I got 29. How many black direct reports did you have? 1. I said, so you hired one more? I said, so you got now 2 out of 29, but you want to play that 50% stuff with me. See, that's the game we're playing here. The argument that I'm making is, look, Henry, you can take it. And I just said this, Mustafa. This desk, built by a black set designer. These lights, installed by a black lighting director. We use black caterers. We use black photographers. We employ black people. If we don't employ our own, who the hell will? That's the point Walter's saying.
He's exactly right. You know, we know there has been a disinvestment in our communities, in our businesses. So if we are not willing to reinvest, then, you know, others aren't going to. And then we have to also stop allowing folks to pimp us and take our dollars. I often say we got to stop. Also, you know, when you pull that curtain back from the wizards, you get to find out what's really going on back there. So, you know, we have some responsibility in this space. We also need to make sure there are scorecards, honest scorecards about, you know, these various entities and what do they really look like? What does their infrastructure look like? You know, how many folks are actually in positions of power? Who are the folks who actually are yielding and wielding the dollars, if you will? And then if we can still continue to shoot our own selves in the foot by not holding people accountable, by taking our dollars away from the folks who don't truly care about our communities and who are not investing in us, then that's on us. But we've got a lot of these different pieces we got to pull together.
Absolutely. And here's the deal, Lauren. I would love to, we reached out to Tiffany Warren. I would love for Tiffany Warren to come on to discuss this. I would love for Tiffany to come on to talk about how ADCOLOR is holding the industry accountable. Because I'm going to be honest with you, I'm sick of all these bullshit DE and oppositions. I'm being real honest with you. Because, see, I need to see real change. And I keep saying, you don't get props from me for hiring a black person in a DE and I position. I need to see who else you're hiring. I need to see who's getting contracts. I need to see, are you doing what that brother at Coca-Cola is doing by saying to law firms, unless y'all diversify, you're going to lose our business. That's what I'm talking about. And so we've got to be challenging everybody. Because, see, I ain't interested in you dancing and taking photos with blackness. I'm not interested in you coming to the receptions and the red carpet and the picking up some cute little award. No, I need to see substantive changes. And so all Walter is saying, and I concur, is who you're hiring. And if you're not hiring us, what's up?
Yeah.
Because if you can't hire us, you can't represent us. Go ahead.
Right. It's about the money, obviously, Roland, as you well know. Who gets the money, who gets paid, who gets the highest salary, and who gets to decide who else they can bring in to make those salaries. So it's not a lot of times you'll see at companies, they'll hire a few black people to, integrate the photography, but those people really don't make a decision with regard to who else they can hire. So you have to have sort of a scale up inside an organization. You know, media organizations do it all the time. They'll hire some black people, but those black people really don't control any hiring and any salary structure within the structure. And so it really doesn't mean anything. So it's a never-ending problem in a lot of industries. And to me, the way I sort of always judge it is, you know, you're not showing me anything unless you're showing me somebody who makes the decisions over hiring and firing and really
That's right.
the salary structure. I mean, if you don't have that, there's nothing going on.
Here's the deal. I had the people from 600 and Beyond on here, the effort they're trying to change the advertising industry. This is what I'm going to put out. I will gladly have Walter, have Tiffany Warren and ADCOLOR. I will gladly have 600. I will gladly have anybody else. I will happily host I'll make it 2-hour conversation right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered about what is happening in the advertising industry when it comes to who they're hiring, who's in power, and also what dollars that black media companies are receiving from the annual $150. I'm putting it out there. So Tiffany, you got the invite. Walter, you got the invite. 600 and beyond, you got the invite. I will lead the conversation. I will have some of the top black people who are in advertising to come on this show so we can have a family conversation to answer what is happening. Are we getting that money that we deserve? Because we damn sure putting money in, but we ain't getting it back as owners. All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have, you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it. Please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.